you cymbal players, tambourine shakers, Fender Rhodes noodlers. Welcome to session 2 on Songform. As I said in the last tutorial, I just finished a new ebook called Get Over the Hump, a Songwriter's Toolkit, Melody and Harmony, Non-Fat. So that's what we're talking about today. Most of you know me from my sessions on horn arranging, jazz and rock and roll horns, and I've gotten a lot of great response, and people are liking it, and I'm having a great time emailing with everybody across the globe. It's really amazing. It's been a lot of fun. And I'd like to thank all the friends out there that have contributed to that. So the last session we talked about melodic content. We talked about the 5 different techniques on content: diatonic, static, arpeggios, and today we're going to talk about song form. And it's an interesting subject. It's transformed over the years. In the old days, in the jazz era, the 20s, Tin Pan Alley, and those in the jazz era. Basically, song form was you had letter A, and you had you had 8 bars, and then you had that would repeat. Okay, and then you would go to a bridge that was 8 bars. Okay, this is your bridge, or second ending. Okay, and then that would go back to a verse again. Then you'd take the sign, DSL Coda. We'll talk about that later. And you go back to here. You do another 8. You take the Coda, which is right here, and that's your outro. And typically that's how it worked. Those Cole Porter tunes, those Gershwin, tunes, that's how they all worked. And in those days, they referred to this whole piece as a chorus. One time through the piece was considered one chorus. So if you're taking solos and the guy goes, take 2 choruses, you play through it twice. Also, there would typically be an intro, 8 bars. Now, a lot of times, the intro doesn't repeat. This would be your intro, okay, if there was an intro. But many times, there was that rubato section up front, and you've heard it many times from tunes. The loveliness of Paris, I left my heart in San Francisco, or those, and then they would kick into letter A, the chorus, okay, or the tune with tempo and everything, and so those rubato sections up front were referred to as the reverse of the verse, and they were typically rubato, meaning no tempo, they're just played freely, and they would do a verse, and a lot of times it was piano and the vocal, and then when the chorus would start, the band would kick in, and you'd have tempo and everything else. Sometimes on the intro you would have strings, or whatever they did, but that was how it was in the old days, and the whole thing was considered a chorus. So, and then that all changed when we got into rock and roll in the 50s, and now the chorus is, as we know, is it's verse, chorus. The verse has tempo. All the jargon has changed now. So now we have, A is like a verse, and that's 8 bars, and then we have a chorus that's 8 bars. Okay, and that repeats. So you'll go back to here's letter B. These typically have boxes around them. We'll cover that later when we go over charts. how to write charts. So there's chorus, and that all repeats twice, and then you'll come to your bridge. Typically, I use double bars at the end of sections of a song in a chart so people know where they're at, and then you'll maybe do a chorus out. Okay, and then you have another chorus. Okay, or we'll do DS, back to the sign, Coda, Coda, and then this would be your outro. So that's basically what we have today. So what I like to do when we talk about form is I won't write it out like that. We'll just go A, B, A, B. So the form basically, the bare basic form is A, B. You'll hear a lot of folk music that's just A, B, A, B. Bob Dylan loves to write songs like that, and that's okay. I always find in art, there's the magic three. It's like three components. There's three primary colors. There's, threes pop up in art, whether it's visual art or performing arts, all the time. So typically on an A-B tune, you'll find C at the end, which could be like a tag. So a lot of times on songs that are A, B, A, B, A, B, verse, chorus, they'll do a tag at the end, and that'll gives it a sense of completion. Another form that I love is where I'll start with the chorus. So we'll start with the chorus like that, letter B, and we'll go verse, chorus, verse, and we can keep going, but what happens is it starts to get really symmetrical, which is kind of tiring. So what you can do here, and what I've done in the past, I had a tune that I wrote that started with the chorus, and I was real proud of the form that I came up with because it had balance, it was asymmetrical, and it really worked. So you could go A, B, A, B, A, B, A, C, put a bridge in there, and then go B, and then go out, like that. And so the C kind of keeps it asymmetrical, which is, symmetrical is great. They both have their place. So there's a lot of, there's also another section I like to talk about, which is the B section, or I believe in Nashville. I've never lived in Nashville, but I visited Nashville. I believe they call it the channel. Is that right? Somebody email me and tell me if I'm wrong. But I've heard it referred to as the channel. One time I was in a rehearsal and we actually used like these Nashville charts. They have their own way of doing stuff. Anyway, and the B section is typically A, B, C, A, B, C. So here's your verse. Here's your B section. The B section is like a pre-chorus. It sets up the chorus. And the B section your verse can be 8 bars long. Your B section can be 4 bars long. Chorus 8 bars long. Sections can be as long as you want. I've written songs that are 6 bar sections and that sort of thing. Okay? So things can be as long as they need to be. It really doesn't matter. But what I like to do is play around with my form. Oh, there's the egg timer. Anyway, this is an analog egg timer. It actually ticks. Anyway, so also the other issue with using form is codas or endings and tags are often really good on stuff. So here you could throw a tag in there, and like I said before, with A B A B A B C, throw a tag in there if you don't have a bridge, because that'll give it more of a completed idea. The last concept I want to talk about, which I really like, is a through composed, meaning none of the sections ever repeat. So, and the first person that pops in my mind is Paul McCartney. He did that with Band on the Run, Uncle Albert. There's Stephen Stills wrote a tune called Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. I'm a baby boomer, so those are the ones that I remember. So A, B, C, D, E, out. Typically the outro is something that's very catchy, that pretty much acts like a chorus, that's ear-catching. But you can do this, and I know in some cases with Through Composed, and I've done this myself, I'll have a couple of things sitting around that I've worked on that aren't finished, and maybe you can hook stuff together, and you might have to change the key or work the segues from one piece to the other. But sometimes that's fun to do, is to take a couple of songs that aren't finished and put them together. The lyrics need to work, of course. But anyway, Through Composed is fun. So try those things. Try playing around. If you have a song now that you're kind of toying with, it's not completely done, not set in stone, play around with the form. Move stuff around. Try to be more asymmetrical. Write something that's through composed. And anyway, so that's what we have for today. Don't forget, shoot me an email, fred@fredstickleymusic.com. And if the ebook is available, and the chapters are melodic content, song form, scales, how to build scales because all your chords are based on scales, harmony, plural substitutes, chords within chords, chordal movement, pentatonic scales, great for learning for your soloing and for writing riffs, underneath your melody. Blues scales, passing chords, fourth voicings, those are fun. Alternating triads, secondary dominants, time signatures, chart layout, all those things. And I've made the book very lean, lots of charts where you connect the dots, and I've tried to make it really simple and intuitive for learning. So shoot me an email, and I'd love to hear from you. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for stopping by.